Welcome to Stock Law Now. I'm Scott Colasanti. 3 weeks ago, the cryptocurrency market topped $1 trillion, marking the largest box office for something inexplicable since the movie Birdman. And the S.E.C. doesn't even yet regulate this mammoth investment market, leaving us and them up Crypt's Creek, the first podcast of the new year from Stock Law Now. As always, my trusty dog Cherry shall interrupt should I digress. And here we go.
We'd like to thank you, Herbert Hoover, for really showing us the way.
Dateline 2008. In the midst of a terrifying financial crisis, one or more anonymous computer folks post a scholarly white paper on the internet. It's called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic payment system, and the author is listed as Satoshi Nakamoto. We still don't know who Nakamoto is or was, although a retired Japanese-American physicist has been denying ownership of the title and the white paper for 7 years. Despite its unclear source, this 2008 white paper served as a written gift to the world. It started cryptocurrency. And it's still right there, just a short internet search away, and it's almost readable, if you can get past calculus problems and such vocabulary as nonce and its utter disdain for banks. But seriously, on the heels of what one of my students aptly calls a generational distrust of financial institutions, the white paper crystallized the hope of a better world. In that utopia, merchant and consumer could conclude internet business without the assistance of either centralized authority or legal tender. No more dual fees to Visa, no more conversion rate uncertainty. All thanks to a wonderful idea for a decentralized yet immutable cyber ledger called blockchain. Blockchain, of course, would be made possible by state-of-the-art technology. In turn, either the same or other anonymous and pioneering parties heeded the call of the white paper. In 2009, the first bitcoins were mined, a mysterious elitist process by which fancy computers solve mathematical problems and are rewarded with coins. Interestingly, no one seems quite sure who is doing the mining or how long it takes, just that it's going to hit a wall when 21 million coins are created. The pioneers' notion of a payment system that bypassed banks and credit cards did not seriously take root. However, the emergence of cryptocurrency as a purchase item on an anonymous global computer network did. By 2012, there were over 8 million bitcoins on the internet network, and a rival had emerged, Litecoin. Indeed, as far back as almost a decade ago, the notion of non-fiat currency, or payment via a means other than legal tender from a nation, had sparked serious interest.
I got friends in low places.
With so much anonymity and novelty and access, there was perhaps predictably a very rough start. The Mt. Gox Bitcoin exchange went bankrupt in 2014, taking an estimated $400 million of crypto with it. And the Silk Road website, which anonymously sold illegal drugs, popularized the criminal possibilities. Comedians slam crypto as the currency of organized crime and pornographers. But those rough spots passed, and Bitcoin spurred an investment bonanza. Between 2015 and the present, non-fiat currencies have skyrocketed in volume and price. The whole notion of using the coins as barter has been minimized as the barter became the ends and not the means. It's as though the Greeks in the Trojan horse put up paneling rather than getting out to storm the castle. Truly, the change in purpose is as hard to understand as, well, the fine print on your AT&T cell phone bill. Or a parent insisting on homeschooling a child and then flunking him. I know, Cherry, I don't get them all either. The point being, in the past 5 years, an elegantly spawned socioeconomic movement morphed into an investment market extravaganza. By January 2015, close to 14 million Bitcoins were in use. That year, Bitcoin fluctuated between $200 and $400 a coin. Ethereum, Bitcoin's closest rival, started at that time. By July 2017, Bitcoin split into two differing coins. By January 2018, nearly 17 million coins were in play in a wild yearly trading range of $1,000 and $14,000 a coin. By January 2021, 18.5 million Bitcoins populate the market, and the number of cryptocurrencies tops 4,000. And oh yes, Bitcoin is presently valued at over $32,000 a coin. Along the way, retail outlets ranging from Overstock.com to the Democratic National Committee grabbed headlines by publicizing acceptance of Bitcoins as payment. Of tremendous moment, J.P. Morgan CEO, who had called Bitcoin a fraud in 2017, confessed last month that, quote, institutional flow impulse, end quote, could ultimately more than quadruple the coin's worth. In sum, as we sit dazed and confused in January 2021, we can look back and conclude only that global strangers created a cyber unit that technocrats have gotten hold of and sold to innumerable middlemen. Cryptocurrency can now be legally purchased in whole or in part from dedicated sellers, crypto exchanges, your local broker-dealer, even from public Bitcoin ATMs. Exactly where the Bitcoin resides can at times be incomprehensible, explaining why only about 2,300 American businesses accept the alt currency as payment. With crypto seemingly being finite and yet open for 24-hour trading on countless markets, the cost rises and falls with the unpredictable worldwide demand. With absolutely no regulation, the price swings are historic. Crypto is universally available to the educated and uneducated investor alike. Before we get to the inevitable legal analysis, please enjoy the sounds of another rip-roaring, highly speculative time, the 1980s. Okay, enough of that puzzling decade. Crypto being irresistible to the young and old, the experienced and the neophyte, the institutional investor and the short-term trader, there rises the inevitable question: has crypto law kept pace? The short answer is, there is no crypto law to amp up. Just random acts of kindness by regulators to punish crypto's most flagrant abuses. Let us start at the top. Although lobbyists have descended upon Washington, there has been no appreciable risk of Congress regulating cryptocurrency. The individual states have had to confront the exponentially budding commerce and have done so with approaches running the spectrum from inspiration to discouragement. Even where a state such as New York has adopted a strict regulatory stance, that stance has remained problematic. It suffices to note that the bit license required by the Empire State questionably assumes jurisdiction over any party offering coins over the internet, and that only about 30 institutions have purchased a license. Which leaves the federal agencies as the players in the spotlight. Early on, the Department of the Treasury embraced its standing position that a non-fiat currency cannot be legal tender. Concurrently, FinCEN, the enforcement arm of the Treasury, has repeatedly warned that monies changing into anything at certain amounts trigger the money transmitter rules and prohibitions. To same end, the Internal Revenue Service has consistently avoided definition, while emphasizing simply that cryptocurrency profits generate tax liability, as either short-term or long-term capital gains. Separately, the CFTC grabbed headlines in the 2015 coin flip administrative hearing, as well as the 2018 Cabbage Tech federal court case. Those decisions successfully equated Bitcoin with commodities for purposes of application of the Commodity Exchange Act. However, the CFTC, with a budget that is approximately 1/6 that of the SEC, brings only about 50 retail actions a year, making active enforcement of a $1 trillion market unlikely. Moreover, the CFTC has not engaged in relevant rulemaking, which leaves the S.E.C. the most active market regulator in terms of both rulemaking and enforcement. In 1946, the Commission was blessed with nearly boundless jurisdiction when the Supreme Court announced via the Howey decision that passive investor arrangements can be declared investment contracts under the Securities Act of 1933. Armed with that persistent and elastic jurisdictional tool, since 2013, the SEC has brought over 70 uncontested actions against Ponzi schemers, celebrity endorsers, and other promoters of unregistered digital asset sales. And yet, the stretching of the famed Howey test to cover sales of unregistered digital coin has proven problematic for various reasons. First, the Howey test cannot possibly fit the wide variety of deals and plans that the $1 trillion market shall inspire. Second, a broad application of the Howey test actually collapses under its own weight. For if every time someone parts with money in hopes of profits derived solely from the efforts of others on the internet, then an incalculable number of entities have unwittingly created unregistered securities. Third, such retroactive application of a common law test to a deal provides little guidance or certainty for either investor or promoter. Stated otherwise, the SEC has not promulgated a final rule or regulation. For a quick read on the quagmire in which the SEC finds itself at the present time, one need only glimpse 4 documents. First, see the Shavers decision from 2013. In that Texas case, the court declared Bitcoin commensurate with cash for purposes of the 4-part Howey test, but the court stopped far short of equating the sale of Bitcoin itself with the sale of a security. Second, see the turnkey no-action letter of April 2019. That no-action letter highlighted that companies shall not be found to have created securities if, among other things, limiting the value to $1 and refraining from encouraging a third-party market. But the letter reaches very far, where it warns that coins should not be used as part of any capital financing. Simply put, why would someone engage in selling coins if not engaging in capital financing? Third, see the Kick Interactive complaint of 2019. The SEC sought to undo a $100 million offering of unregistered digital coins, yet the Kick company later settled that action late last year for a fine of only $5 million. Finally, number 4, see the Commissioner Hester Pierce concurrence from the Wireline decision just days ago. That concurrence highlights the discord at the top level of the Commission. Specifically, Commissioner Pierce thinly masked her resentment for Howey's Orange Grove fact pattern when she noted, quote, "You cannot make a security out of an orange by citing to the fact that the groves that produce these oranges were originally developed and sold as part of an investment contract," end quote. The end result is that all of this discussion and litigation and press releases, the 70-plus SEC actions, the class action lawsuits similarly invoking the Howey test, the varying state requirements, they have all served to remind us of the proverbial death of 1,000 cuts. And the cuts are not succeeding in making a whale of a market any more tameable or comprehensible. While an estimated 60 million investors hold Bitcoin in digital wallets, and a multiple thereof qualify as monthly users, less than 2% of all crypto holders are using the coins as barter. In the main, people are buying it, trading it, holding it, investing in it, and or profiting from it. Everyone thus wants in or wants to know why the fuss. While we contemplate the bizarrely glacial rise and dizzying potential of crypto, please enjoy this hypnotic theme from the 90s. Okay, enough hypnotic theme. Here's the thing. We are watching a need for regulation start from the ground up. Only the response is taking way too long. Like the better mousetrap. Or the development of a truly universal remote that works with everything in your house. Or that flying car Elon Musk promised us. Sorry. From a marketplace perspective, the business of crypto now involves more middlemen than an Italian wedding in Brooklyn. From an investment standpoint, the question remains, will my account be hacked? And will I be able to get my money out? And, most importantly, from a regulatory standpoint, there are simply too many people lured to something that can go down 80% in a year or $3,000 in a day. All of which leads to this episode's soapbox. Imagine in America, where the average American knew what the hell crypto was and wasn't. Or how the thing meant to eliminate middlemen has spawned 1,000 new middlemen. Or whether a blockchain is a spreadsheet or yet another failed offensive play by the New York Jets. All right. The S.E.C, with its budget measured in billions and scores of enforcement attorneys, would seem the best choice for primary regulator. But the lawsuits have to be the second option. We know that every time a company is disciplined, an S.E.C angel gets their wings. However, at the present moment, reconciliation via rulemaking is not only the higher road, but the only road. Incoming S.E.C Chair Gary Gensler has the potential for that road. Gensler inspires hope for the people of Crypt Creek for several reasons. First, he used to head up the CFTC, so he's familiar with commodities that skyrocket in price. Second, in recent years, he taught cryptocurrency at MIT. You know, that little old place that survived 9 years of lame jokes on the Big Bang Theory. Further, Gensler inherits an S.E.C with so much to undo, redo, or better do that constant warfare with Bitcoin Nation is simply not an option. Finally, $1 trillion worth of anything is hard to ignore for too long.
In this life, one thing counts. In the bank, large amounts.
With such realities in mind, Stock Law Now thus says, Mr. Gensler, we hereby propose S.E.C Rule 151A, titled Registration of Crypto Exchanges. Since there are a growing number of parties in the crypto market embracing some level of regulation, why not start at the top? Ask existing state-registered trading platforms, such as Gemini, to register with the S.E.C. Recall that the New York Stock Exchange, which originated way back in 1792, and all its competitors re-registered with the S.E.C after 1934, rather than lose the stamp of government approval. For open, federal, government registration of crypto exchanges, in addition to halting crazy volatility, guarantees three things. One, that the trading hours shall be uniform, and that the corresponding data shall be more transparent, instead of just being an ad by the crypto lobby. Two, that entities will be compelled to meet uniform cybersecurity rules to minimize hacking. And three, that the government gets to charge a small fee on each transaction, just as it has been charging the securities industry the Section 31 fees for decades. Further, as part of the new S.E.C rule, highlight a short list of exemptions, namely digital assets which shall not be deemed subject to S.E.C regulation. That means utility tokens, customer reward programs, and harmless stablecoins need not worry about surprise government lawsuits. History has a lesson here. Rule 151 was adopted in 1986 to confront the thorny issue of whether a variable annuity contract should be considered a security or solely an insurance product. Update the rule to draw a similar line for crypto. And the beautiful thing is, there's already a recent blueprint for the factors giving rise to an exemption, the Turnkey Jet No Action Letter of 2019. Moreover, the willingness of some entities to choose government registration, such as INX did last summer, belies the notion that confrontation is unavoidable. True, critics may note that there are more than 200 crypto exchanges worldwide right now. However, the number of significant American exchanges is closer to 3. By comparison, there are over 21 American stock exchanges presently registered with the Commission.
You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money.
To paraphrase the legendary Hall & Oates, we cannot rely on our old man's money. Crypto, however the item and its purpose are best defined, is here to stay. In conclusion, for the past 400 years, the third decade of the century has seen a financial crisis. Truly, the decade of the 20s is tough. Just ask Miley Cyrus. Sorry. Now, in our 2020s, we have $1 trillion gorilla in the room that few regulators want to greet. Let's stop pretending that crypto shall either go the way of prior fads or by serendipity meet with an effective regulator. As the stray cats of Massapequa, Long Island said in the glorious 80s, Bitcoin, we won't stand in your way anymore. Get ready, everybody. Crypto's arrived, like it or not. It deserves an S.E.C. rule, a definition, a discrete trading day, a scorecard, and a set of nationally recognized marketplaces. Let's hope the S.E.C. embraces its new role, lest crypto remain in the shadows as this era's money mattress, in an era when banks paying 1% savings interest or less become increasingly marginalized. For Stock Law Now, I'm Scott Colasanti saying, hey, let's be careful in here. And here's a tip for non-millennials. That guy in the Mamma Mia movies used to play James Bond. Yeesh, we thought our lives got dull. Yes, Jerry, it's him. Yes, he played the Bachelor Sam. Well, we all gain weight.
Stock Law Now is prepared, delivered, and copyrighted by Professor Scott Colasanti of Hofstra Law School. All views expressed herein are personal, so please, no wagering. For links to documents referenced herein, visit Castography at www.stocklawnow.com.